Dark days are ahead for Enzo Fernandez. While he is enjoying his vacation after Argentina's painful defeat in the 2026 World Cup final, Chelsea have been preparing brutal terms for his return. Enzo wanted a better contract. He wanted Chelsea to reward his status, and for months, Real Madrid looked like the perfect escape if they refused. Now that escape route is collapsing. Madrid have publicly distanced themselves. Enzo remains tied to Chelsea until 2032. And instead of giving their £100 million midfielder the deal he believes he deserves, Chelsea can simply bring him back to Cobham and give him nothing. But what Chelsea may be planning next could make his return to London far more painful than anyone expected.
Because this battle did not suddenly appear after the World Cup, talks over Enzo's future had already become difficult months ago. His representatives discussed improved terms with Chelsea, but no agreement was reached. The message from his camp was clear. If the two sides could not find common ground after the World Cup, other options could be explored. That sounded threatening when Europe's biggest clubs were being connected with him, especially Real Madrid. For Enzo, Madrid appeared to offer everything Chelsea could not guarantee. Champions League football, global prestige, a fresh start, and an escape route if Chelsea refused to recognise what he believed his status deserved. Then, Real Madrid did something extraordinary. They publicly killed the story. On July 3rd, Madrid issued an official statement saying they had made no direct or indirect attempt to sign Enzo Fernandez and had no intention of pursuing the transfer. That was not an anonymous briefing. It came from Real Madrid themselves. Suddenly, Chelsea could look at the situation completely differently. Enzo is not approaching the end of his contract. He cannot simply wait 12 months and threaten to leave for nothing. Chelsea have him under contract until 2032 and reportedly value him at around £120 million. That gives Chelsea an extraordinary amount of control. They can sell if somebody pays their price. They can negotiate a better contract if they believe Enzo deserves one. Or they can do absolutely nothing. And that third option may be the most brutal of all. Imagine returning to Cobham after reaching another World Cup final. You have just spent weeks performing on football's biggest stage. You believe your status has risen. You expect your club to recognise it. Then you walk through the door and Chelsea simply point at the contract you already signed. 6 more years. No emergency, no pressure, no reason to panic. BBC reporting before the World Cup already made Chelsea's position clear. Enzo remained highly regarded, was part of their plans, and would only become seriously available if an offer around their valuation arrived. That is where the power struggle becomes fascinating, because Chelsea do not have to humiliate Enzo publicly. They do not have to announce that he is unwanted. They do not have to push him onto the transfer list. They can welcome him back, smile, put him in training, and refuse to improve anything. If Enzo accepts that, Chelsea keep an elite midfielder on the contract they already negotiated. If Enzo hates it, the problem becomes his. And eventually, he may be the one who has to ask for the exit. That would completely reverse the pressure. Before the World Cup, Enzo's side could point toward other opportunities. Chelsea had to consider whether refusing a new agreement might eventually cost them the player. After the World Cup, the obvious Madrid route looks far less certain. And Chelsea have been strengthening around him. Valentin Barco has arrived. Moises Caicedo remains central to the midfield. Romeo Lavia and other options are still there. Chelsea have spent heavily reshaping the squad under Xabi Alonso. That does not mean Enzo suddenly becomes irrelevant. Far from it.
He scored 15 goals and registered 7 assists for Chelsea last season and finished runner-up in the club's Player of the Season voting. At the World Cup, he scored twice as Argentina reached the final. Chelsea's own website recorded him playing 7 matches and 660 minutes during the tournament.
This is still one of Chelsea's biggest players, which makes the contract battle even more interesting. Because refusing better terms does not necessarily mean Chelsea think Enzo is bad. It could mean they think they already own enough of his future. Before we continue, subscribe to the World Cup Whistleblower because Enzo Fernandez may be coming back to Chelsea, but the real fight could begin before he even kicks another ball. There is another possibility that makes this situation considerably darker. What if Chelsea are perfectly comfortable allowing Enzo to become frustrated? There is no evidence the club has decided to deliberately force him out. No Chelsea official has said that, and there is no confirmed secret plan to punish him through his contract. But strategically, Chelsea would not need such a plan. They could simply refuse to improve his position. And after everything that has happened between Enzo, Argentina, and English football, that possibility becomes impossible to ignore. Enzo was already a controversial figure in England before this summer. Then Argentina defeated England in the World Cup semi-final, with Enzo scoring the equaliser in a dramatic 2-1 comeback. Chelsea themselves celebrated his performance, while FIFA highlighted him as one of Argentina's decisive players. But international football changes emotions. Chelsea are an English club operating in the Premier League, with English supporters, English sponsors, and an enormous domestic profile. Could that wider environment influence how far Chelsea are willing to go to keep Argentina's most controversial midfielder happy? There is no evidence that it has, but there is an obvious difference between actively punishing Enzo for Argentina and simply deciding he is not worth special treatment. Chelsea do not owe him a better contract because he reached another World Cup final. They do not have to increase his salary because his representatives want an improved deal. And they certainly do not have to help him reach Real Madrid after Madrid publicly denied wanting him. That is why the most ruthless Chelsea strategy might actually look completely normal from the outside. Keep him, play him, pay him exactly what his current contract says, and let time do the damage. If Enzo becomes frustrated enough, he may eventually make the transfer request himself. Then Chelsea can demand their price without being portrayed as the club that forced out one of its stars. And there is another complication for Enzo: Moises Caicedo. For all the drama surrounding Fernandez, Chelsea know the partnership can work. Enzo has previously spoken warmly about playing alongside Caicedo, and the Ecuadorian gives him the defensive platform to move forward. Xabi Alonso has also spoken privately with Enzo and publicly indicated that he would like the midfielder to remain. That matters, because it destroys the simplest version of this story. Chelsea are not necessarily desperate to get rid of him. They may genuinely want Enzo Fernandez, just not at Enzo Fernandez's price. And that distinction could decide everything. If Chelsea wanted him gone, Enzo could negotiate from a position of strength. Both parties would be searching for the same solution. But if Chelsea are happy to keep him while refusing the improved deal he wants, Enzo has a problem. He either accepts Chelsea's conditions, or he finds somebody willing to pay what Chelsea demand. Real Madrid have publicly said no. Chelsea reportedly want around £120 million, and the clock is not working against Chelsea, it is working against Enzo. That is why his comeback could become far more uncomfortable than another ordinary return from international duty. He left Chelsea with questions surrounding his future. He returns after losing a World Cup final. His dream destination has publicly denied wanting him. His contract battle remains unresolved, and Chelsea still control the next 6 years of his career. The brutal terms may therefore never arrive as a dramatic piece of paper placed in front of him. They may already exist. Come back, train, play, honor the contract you signed. And if that is not good enough, find somebody willing to pay Chelsea's price. For months, Enzo Fernandez could make Chelsea wonder whether they were doing enough to keep him.
Now Chelsea can make Enzo wonder whether anyone else wants him badly enough to take him away. And that may be the most brutal welcome back of all.